Imagine a world where survival is everything. A world where every decision could be the difference between life and death. But here's the thing, what if I told you that some of the most powerful survival tools are banned in certain places? These aren't your ordinary tools. They're weapons, shields, and tactics that are too powerful, too effective, or even too dangerous for everyday use. Preppers hide these tools for a reason. They could save your life, but they also come with serious consequences. Curious about what they are? Stick around, because today, we're about to uncover the survival gear preppers don't talk about. What's the most effective survival gear that's actually banned in some places? In today's video, we'll dive into some of the most powerful, yet restricted survival tools that could make all the difference when disaster strikes. What are the secret weapons preppers use for defense? We'll reveal some survival weapons that many preppers swear by, including ones that are too controversial to talk about in the open. What's the hidden gear you never hear about? From hidden knives to lockpicks, we'll discuss the gear that's not just for surviving, but for thriving when everything else goes wrong. The hidden realm of survival gear. Survival isn't just about having the basics. Sure, you might have a few days of food, a water filter, and some first aid supplies. But what about when things get really bad? When the grid goes down, the stores are closed, and you're left to fend for yourself. It's the more unconventional survival gear that could save your life. These are the tools that preppers often keep hidden or under wraps because they're so effective, or, let's face it, because they're just too controversial now. I'm not saying that every prepper has access to these tools, but these hidden gems are the kinds of things that, if you get your hands on them, could drastically improve your chances of surviving when things go sideways. But, and here's the kicker, some of these tools are banned or regulated in certain areas, meaning you might not be able to legally own them, depending on where you live. But don't panic. Even if you can't get the real deal, there are still clever workarounds and alternatives that work just as well. So, let's dive in and take a look at some of these survival tools that preppers hide and why they're so effective. Crowd control weapons. Let's start with one of the most effective forms of self-defense: pepper spray, mace, and CS gas grenades. These tools are designed to incapacitate attackers without causing permanent harm. They're perfect for situations where you don't want to escalate the violence, but you need to protect yourself, especially when facing multiple attackers or aggressive intruders. These crowd control tools are used in a variety of situations. Pepper spray, for example, is commonly carried by people who live in urban areas or who feel the need for extra protection. It's compact, easy to use, and effective in blinding and disorienting an attacker, buying you precious time to escape or call for help. However, here's the twist. Pepper spray and mace are regulated in some places, and CS gas grenades are even more restricted. These tools can be so powerful that they're deemed too dangerous for civilians in certain regions. But why are they so effective? Well, they work quickly. Whether you're facing a single threat or multiple aggressors, these tools can defuse the situation without the need for lethal force. And that's why they're so popular among preppers, because they allow for defense without deadly consequences. Alternatives. What if you can't get your hands on these tools because of where you live? Well, not to worry. There are still alternatives that can be just as effective. For example, wasp spray is legal in many places and has a longer range than pepper spray, making it a great substitute. If you want to get really creative, you could even make your own pepper gel by combining hot peppers and oil. Or, if you prefer high-tech solutions, motion-activated alarms or lights can deter intruders before they even get close. Remember, the point is to be prepared without breaking the law. And there are plenty of ways to do that if you can't get your hands on banned items, body armor, and ballistic plates. Next, let's talk about body armor and ballistic plates. In the world of survival, personal protection is a game changer. Think about it. In a situation where the world is falling apart, stray gunfire or looters could become a real threat. Body armor can protect you from bullets, shrapnel, and other dangers that might otherwise leave you vulnerable. However, body armor and ballistic plates are highly regulated in some areas. Civilians in certain states or countries may not legally own or wear them. Why? Because of their potential to save lives in extreme situations. Some places see it as an unfair advantage for civilians, and that's why they enforce these regulations. But when survival is on the line, body armor can be your best friend. It's designed to keep you alive long enough to get to safety, even if you never fire a shot. Alternatives. If body armor isn't an option in your area, there are still DIY solutions that can offer some protection. Believe it or not, stacked books, ceramic tiles, or even sandbags can act as makeshift body armor, absorbing some of the impact from bullets or other projectiles. For more heavy-duty protection, consider fortifying your home or bug-out location with steel doors or ballistic blankets. These are great alternatives for those who want extra protection without breaking the law. Remember, you don't need to prepare for a full-scale war. Survival gear, like body armor, is about being ready for any extreme situation where the risk of injury or death is high. If you can't get the real deal, there are always alternatives that can still offer protection when you need it most. Slingshots and crossbows. Let's shift gears and talk about slingshots and crossbows. These may seem like weapons from a bygone era, but trust me, they're still incredibly valuable in the modern-day survival world. Why? Because they're silent, reusable, and incredibly effective at close to medium ranges. In a world where silence is key to staying undetected, a slingshot or crossbow can be a stealthy weapon for hunting or self-defense. They don't require ammunition in the traditional sense. Instead, you can use rocks, small arrows, or even improvised projectiles. Plus, they're silent, which means you can protect yourself or hunt for food without alerting others to your presence. But here's the thing. Slingshots and crossbows are often heavily regulated in urban areas. In some places, even owning one might be illegal depending on local laws. Why? Because they can be effective weapons, and many authorities prefer to keep control over who owns what. Alternatives? If you live in an area where these weapons are restricted, don't worry, you've got options. Survival bows are an excellent alternative to crossbows. They're lightweight, compact, and just as effective. You could also consider a wrist rocket, which uses ball bearings to launch projectiles. They work just like a slingshot, but are even more portable and less likely to be seen as dangerous. And don't forget about primitive weapons like throwing spikes or outlaws. These are surprisingly effective when used properly, and they're easy to make from materials you find in the wild. These tools allow you to hunt or defend yourself without making any noise. Something that can make all the difference when you're trying to stay out of sight. Lockpicks and bypass tools. Okay, let's talk about something that sounds a bit shady. Lockpicks and bypass tools. While these are often associated with burglars or criminals, for preppers, they're essential for gaining access to resources in survival situations. Imagine that the power goes out and you've lost the key to your storage shed, or you come across a locked building in the wilderness that could provide shelter. In these situations, lockpicks can be invaluable. But here's the catch. Lockpicks are often illegal in many places, and just carrying them could land you in trouble, even if your intentions are purely survival-focused. Alternatives. If lockpicks are off the table, there are still options. Consider manual pry tools, which can open doors or containers with a little elbow grease. Credit card bypass tools or shims are also handy for certain types of locks. In some cases, a lock bump kit can work wonders. Though once again, be sure to check your local laws before using these tools. While they might be unconventional, having the right tools to access locked spaces could be critical in a survival scenario. But always remember to use them responsibly and within the bounds of the law. Concealed gear. Finally, let's talk about concealed survival gear. These are items that are designed to be worn or carried without drawing attention, like hidden knives, credit card tools, and even belt buckle blades. The advantage of concealed gear is that you can carry it on your person without anyone noticing. It's there for when you need it most, whether you're facing a life-threatening situation or just trying to survive in the wild. In a SHT hits the fan scenario, having concealed gear could give you an edge. A hidden knife can help you cut through rope, defend yourself, or perform other survival tasks without attracting attention. Alternatives. Carrying concealed weapons isn't legal in your area. There are still ways to carry discreet survival tools. Keychain multi-tools are a great option. They're small, practical, and usually legal. A paracord bracelet with a hidden blade is another perfect solution. It looks like a regular piece of gear, but it can be a lifesaver when you need it. Flashlights and pens that have built-in tools are also good choices. They're functional, look completely normal, and can be carried anywhere without suspicion. So there you have it, the hidden survival gear that preppers swear by. From crowd control weapons to body armor, slingshots, and lockpicks. There are some serious survival tools that can make all the difference when things go wrong. But don't worry if these tools aren't available in your area. There are always alternatives, legal, creative options that can help you stay prepared and safe. Survival isn't about the tools you have, it's about how you use them. Whether you have the band gear or clever substitutes, being prepared means thinking ahead and using what you've got to stay alive. Remember, knowledge is your best tool. Stay smart, stay prepared, and always check the laws in your area before acquiring any survival gear. If you've learned something new today, hit that like button, share your favorite survival gear in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to survive when everything else goes wrong.